Hi everybody, welcome to this Java tutorial on input and output. To get started today, let's create a new Java project. I'm going to call it the IO project. And now that I have my project space, I'm going to create a driver function which will drive my program. So I'm going to make a class. I usually call this one main with a capital M, and this is where my main function will exist. This will be my driver function for my program. So there we go. So let's start with a quick look at output in Java. The most common option really is to use system.out.print. And let's think about what we want to print. I'm going to print a word, so this is in quotation marks, this is just text that I want to print, and if I run that, we should see the output in the console. Now let's say I also have a variable, num, and I assign it a value, and I want to display this. Then let's just take away my hello message. I just want to print out the variable. Whatever's in the variable, we'll print that out. Okay, so if I change the contents of the variable, I will see that updated in the output. Okay, now what if I want to say hello num? So let's put my message back in, hello, space, and then I'm going to concatenate whatever this variable is storing on the end of that sentence. Okay. And if I wanted to continue the sentence, I could concatenate some more text at the end. Okay. So we've got some text, then we're kind of fixing a variable data in the middle, and then we're finishing the sentence here. Okay. Now, if I do this, let's have another message, goodbye. You can see that everything is printed out on the same line. But after I've printed out my hello num, if I want the next print to be on the next line, I should use println. Okay, so println will print out the message and then go to a new line to get ready for the next message. Okay, so let's just have a quick look at how that works. Okay, so two options for you to think about and mess around with, println and print. And of course, we could use any kind of data. Let's have a Boolean, which is just true or false. Boolean, let's say happy is true. And if we were to print out the contents of the happy variable, we would see true. Okay. Interestingly, regarding Boolean, we can do this. Let's just comment out this one, and we'll just focus on this line here. System.out.println 3 is greater than 5. That's a Boolean expression. It's either going to be true or it's going to be false. And apparently, it's false. So there's another interesting way to use your output. Okay, now let's go and focus on some input. To input data from the keyboard in Java, we need to import at the very top on line 1 of our class file here. We're going to import java.util.scanner. This is going to allow us to use library functions to get data from the keyboard. So step 1 is to set up a scanner variable. Doesn't matter what you call it. You could call it X. System.in means we're going to get data from the keyboard. X, I don't usually call my scanner variable X, by the way. I usually call it keyboard input. It doesn't matter, whatever's meaningful for you. The next thing we really want to do is output a message telling the user what they should be inputting. So for example, please enter a number. So that's kind of step 2. And step 3 is to use our scanner variable to get data from the keyboard. Now there are some interesting options here, and they mostly start with next. And the one that I want to use is nextInt. This gets an integer from the keyboard. There's another one here called nextDouble. That gets a decimal number from the keyboard. Maybe we'll look at that in a moment. But let's use nextInt. And when we get this integer from the keyboard, we really want to assign it to a variable. And because Java has not seen this variable before yet in the program, we need to tell Java the data type of the variable. We're getting an integer from the keyboard, so we should assign that value to an integer variable. And then let's evaluate the variable. We're going to look at an if statement in Java. If num is greater than 10, then let's do system.out.print. Let's do ln num concatenate is a cool number. Else system.out.print ln num concatenate is not a cool number. Okay, so again, just to quickly review the steps for input into Java program. Import your scanner library. If you forget to do that, I'll show you a quick trick in a moment. Set up a variable which will communicate with the keyboard. Tell the user what to do. Use your input variable to get some data from the keyboard and maybe assign that data to a variable. Once you've done that, you can then evaluate the data in a meaningful way according to the problem that you're trying to solve. Okay, so let's run this program and see if it works. Please enter a number. 16 is a cool number. Okay. Alright, so just before we finish, I'm going to take away that import, and we'll see some red lines now under where we're setting up the scanner. In Eclipse, if I hover over that, I can just quickly choose the import option, and that will deal with that error. So there's an introduction to input and output in Java.